different kind of contemplation. And I think that's where I find a lot of my realizations is when I'm by myself in my silence, and I allow my body to just be. The healing journey and the spiritual journey, I've been on it for quite some time, but actually realizing it for the last, since 2019 actually. I will say healing is one of the most important things, and it's also one of the hardest things. Because not only are you looking at yourself, you tend to look at yourself and other people. You tend to start to see why things continue to carry on, not just from yourself, but from your whole lineage. You start to see the repetition. You start to see why they say the past will always repeat itself. You start to understand these things because it's not something that many people want to do. And for me, it was one of those things where I didn't have a choice. There was always introspection on what I needed to work on. And I would dibble and dabble in it at first for just for a minute, and then I would stop. But when it really hit me, I really had to go in. And I really had to understand that it's okay to be who you are. It's okay to be different. It's okay to be misunderstood. I think that's one of the hardest things when, like, you're going on a journey, like the one that I've been on, and many people have too also. A lot of times, you go through things because you're meant to be solo while you're going through them. And the universe, God, source, whoever you want to call it, they bring in people, places, things, situations to see, like, if you're going to react to it how you normally would have. Because looking at my life, and I will always go back to my life with everything that I speak on, I had to realize the patterns of my family and my mother, my father, my biological father, my stepfather, and how that carried into my life and my situations and my romantic partners and who I chose to date and the things that I chose to actually do. And I can say that I can look back at it full-heartedly. And you know that Prince song, maybe I'm just like my mother, she's never satisfied. And maybe I'm just like my father, you know. So a lot of these things that we play out in our reality, typical songs. And we resonate to these songs and we sing them every single day, not really knowing how that song is trying to tell us something. We may be in a sad, depressed mood and we put on the song and it makes us feel away. But how many of us actually sit down and stop and listen to that song, or allow the song to actually talk to you? You know, growing up how I grew up, I really had to learn how to be my own version of me. Not being able to speak, not being protected, not feeling loved. Which all in all, I was loved, but just in a different manner from a place where my generation and my mom's generation and so forth thought that was love, or thought they were giving their kids love. So one of the biggest things about the healing journey is being okay with who you are. I think that was one of the hardest things, because I tried to pour so much love into everybody else, which also led me to become toxic, which also made me understand what my attachment style was, which also led me to greater awareness of my journey and what I'm called here to actually do. I will tell you, this healing journey, like, you have to really be wanting to do it. Like, you have to be wanting to step foot into it and say, I am ready. Realizing that being a people pleaser never really fulfilled me. Realizing that I needed to really love myself, because I was expecting other people to love me, or other people to care about me the way that I cared about them. Before this journey, not realizing that people can only love and people can only care up to their own perspective of the way that they view things. So an unhealed person can only give you so much. No matter what you try to do, no matter what you say, no matter how much love you give someone. And I was that person. And I dated unhealed people. Even as a healed person, which you never really fully heal, because you realize you may heal one aspect of something, but then there's something that's hitting under a little crevice that you didn't even really know that there was a little small crack at the bottom of that wall. And then somebody comes in, or a situation happens, and then boom, now you're activated or triggered. And then now this whole new emotion or feeling or action is rising up in you. And you're like, hold on, where's that coming from? I thought I healed that. And it becomes one of these situations where you really have to understand, just because you heal one aspect of your life doesn't mean that every aspect of it is healed. It's just the fact that you heal it, you learn from it, you continue to raise your vibration to maintain that. Yes, something's gonna knock you down, or something may affect you while you're going through your journey, but it's the lessons that you learn when you are going through those lessons. And some of them are repeated to see if you're going to react the same way. If you're going to put yourself first. That was my problem for a very long time. I put everybody else above me and my own needs and my own wants. To the point to where it almost killed me. So understand, take this healing journey one day at a time. Don't be hard on yourself, because it's very easy while you're going through something to be hard on yourself. I would find myself angry because I knew that I shouldn't have done something, or I knew that I shouldn't have went to some place, or I knew that I shouldn't have dated X person, and I did it anyway. But those lessons are to show you more about yourself than you are really actually seeing. You are capable, you are powerful, you are magnetic, and you are a co-creator in this whole world. So my question to everybody, what is the one thing that you think that you feel that keeps showing up over and over again? And I'll tell you mine. Mine was I wasn't loving myself. I was still seeking love outside of myself. I was still wanting to come in and try to adapt or change someone to see a point of view that only I can see. And even if they could see it, the question is, were they ready to actually see it at that time? Or if they were even supposed to see it. Learning to love myself has opened up a whole new independent side of myself. Yeah, I knew my value, but like when you really learn to love yourself, you really start to understand the value of who you are. You start to understand the value of your energy. You start to understand the value of reciprocation. Like, people say that communication is the most important thing in the world. I disagree. Understanding someone's perception is the most valuable thing in the world. Because you can communicate with the door and still not get your point across. Because the door is not going to understand your perception of what you're saying. So when you start to learn to love yourself, which is the one thing that I have been working on, and it's amazing to say that I've learned my own independence. I've learned that everybody's perception is different. Which also in turn helped me to understand that people who understand or are willing to perceive something from a different perspective, they value you a lot more. Because why? Because you value yourself. So it's just my morning walk right before work. And yeah, a lot more to come. Peace.